Hey there! Welcome to the Distracted Librarians podcast. We're your friendly neighborhood bookworms with a penchant for all things pop culture.
Picture this as our digital campfire, where we dive into our latest obsessions, analyze our favorite distractions, and rediscover the joy of reading.
Whether you're a media enthusiast, a book lover, or just need a break from the daily grind, you've come to the right spot.
So kick back, relax, and get delightfully distracted with us.
Hey everybody! Today we are going to be talking about the new year and resolutions, challenges, books and media that are coming out, that kind of good stuff. Okay, but first, I'm Nicole.
I'm Drew.
I'm Killian.
I'm Amanda.
Speaking of Amanda, hi.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
So we had a bit of a casting change we like to say in the new year, but technically last episode, so for anyone who was confused, would you like to introduce yourself?
I would, thanks. My name is Amanda. I am filling in, taking over where Emily left off. And I'm a librarian at Adult and Teen Services, and I've been at Bloomfield Township Public Library for a little over a year as a librarian. Before that, I was a substitute librarian for almost a year. And my focus is nonfiction. I collect for history, for politics, for social issues, for science, and yeah. So my personal taste as a reader, I love memoir, I love nonfiction, which might be pop psychology, pop science, and I do love fiction, but I tend to not be as well versed with what's the newest, latest, and greatest because I'm allowing all the patrons to read them first. So
Okay.
I feel like my fiction is always 6 months to a year behind, unfortunately. And yeah, happy to be here.
Thanks for being here.
My general fiction tends to be about a year behind when it hits the book club circuit.
Yeah.
So I feel that.
Definitely. Okay, well, there are lots of different book challenges that you can do when you start a new year. I mean, we talk about resolutions. We're booky people, so we can talk about the challenges or the book resolutions that we usually kind of sign ourselves up for. I'm a big fan of the Goodreads Reading Challenge. That's kind of the way I keep myself straight through a year. And I have mine up to about 100 books for a year. But I include all the kids' stuff in there, too. So I know my husband the other day was like, does that count? I'm like, it sure does. I'm reading it. So even if it's a picture book, it's going on the list.
Yeah, mine is currently set to 125. I won't make it. I'll get close.
Holy cow.
I'm at like 90 right now.
Okay.
I was always, like, for the longest time, set it at 100, and I would reach it, and I would do it, and it was a great thing. And then the last few years, I have not been able to read the way I used to. So I have made mine much more reasonable. I think last year I started at 25 and bumped it up to 50, last year being 2023. And then for 2024, set it at 25. And then when I hit it, I decided I just wasn't going to change it.
Okay.
So that I didn't have pressure to be like, okay, and now I have to reach a new goal in the last few months. I'm just going to see what happens.
Sure.
Which has actually felt really nice.
Nice.
Because I don't feel like I have to read.
Right.
I can read because I want to.
Sure.
So.
What about you, Amanda? Do you challenge yourself?
So my goal is always around 50 for a year. I feel like I usually don't reach that because I sort of hover around 3 books a month. But I will say, though, those are generally all your standard size of around 300 pages. So I don't know. I feel like somewhere between 36 and 50.
Yeah.
I feel good about that.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you guys ever think about, like, I would like to read more women authors, or I would like to read more classics. Do you guys do that at all for the beginning of the year?
I have done things like, I specifically want to read these books that have been on my TBR this year, or things like that. I am so much a mood reader, though, that kind of thing is really hard for me to follow through on.
Sure.
Because if I don't want to read that book right then, I simply won't read it. Or I will start it, and then it will sit on my currently reading for months until I finally just delete it.
Yeah.
So I don't do things like that. I've tried to do different, like, published challenges. Pop Sugar did one. I don't know if they still do.
They do, yeah.
Or things like that. I've tried to do those. The ability to follow through on that, minimal at best.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty similar in that regard. What I do every year in January is I'll go through my bookshelf and identify books that I bought like 2, 3, 4 years ago and haven't gotten around to reading. And I'll put those on a Goodreads shelf called my Purge shelf of that year.
Oh, okay.
And if I haven't, any of those books that I haven't read by the end of that year, I'll donate away.
Oh, okay.
I bought them when I was in a mood, and I will clearly not be back to that mood anytime soon.
Yeah.
So they fold them 3 times and thank them and send them on their journey.
Perfect.
I tend to always want to read classics and never get to it.
Okay.
That's why actually the classics book club that is hosted at the library, I think, is the best thing. Because there's just all these classics and you're like, oh my gosh, I hear it's so amazing. People like reference it and I have no idea what they're talking about, and I don't want to actually admit that I don't know what they're talking about.
Sure.
But I also have a hard time doing guilty pleasure reads.
Oh, okay.
Like, I actually, because I'm always like, I want to like feel a lot of feelings and I want to learn something. And sometimes I just have to be like, I want to read something that's light and breezy and that, you know, you can read before bed or at the beach or with a glass of wine. And because I think that's good life balance.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I read a ton of fiction, a ton, but I try to sprinkle in some nonfiction for the same reason, because I'm like, I have too much fluff in my life and I need to get serious sometimes and I need to like learn something. And I feel like there are a lot of really good nonfiction books out there, and I've come across some, and I'm always looking for something that's really going to make my brain tingle and get me all excited about some new concept or new thing that I never thought about before. Classics, similar thing. I sprinkle in a few classics throughout the year for the same reason, because I've had good experiences with classics. They're not all great for me personally, but I've had good experiences, and I'm like, what's the hype? I want to know what it's all about. So, yeah, why are you a classic? What makes you a classic?
Yeah. I use my book club for that a lot as well, of putting on books that I know I have no real interest in, but that have reached the, like, cultural zeitgeist. The world around me has told me that this is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I know that without, like, the obligation of my job, that I would never pick it up even if I had interest. So my book club list every year is 11 books that I've heard of that I will never bring myself around to read.
Okay.
Without the motivation of.
Sure. Definitely. All right, well, let's talk about some things that are coming out next year. What are we looking forward to?
So, because I love memoirs, there's a couple of great ones coming out. So, Nico Case, any Nico Case fans? She's a musician. She had a solo thing, and then she's a part of the New Pornographers, and then she, I don't know if she has come out with any albums recently, but she's coming out with a memoir called The Harder I Fight, The More I Love You. Looking forward to that. There's also Alton Brown has a...
Oh, I love Alton Brown.
I know. He's so charming. some of my favorite dishes. Alton Brown is a like food. I want to say Food Network personality.
He
was
yes.
it Food Network?
I don't know if
Okay.
he still is because I haven't watched that in so long.
I think he still
But
is.
yeah,
But he did Good Eats.
yes.
And which is a great show. It's very quirky, very fast paced.
And what I love about him is that he makes it scientific. Like he teaches you how to cook, but then he also shows you why and how it works and stuff. Which for me, like, I am not a cook. I do not cook. I feed my children. That's pretty much the extent
That's
of
important.
my cooking. But there was something about him explaining how the stuff works that actually appealed to me a lot. I'm like, I can hang with this cooking show. And so now instead of hard boiling eggs, I bake my eggs because of Alton Brown.
That's a thing?
And it's delightful. It is so good.
I had no
They're
idea.
like, they taste nutty, like, because they're like kind of roasted in a way. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sure he would do a much better job. But you put them in like little muffin pan, put them in the oven for 30 minutes at 320, and then you pull them out, dunk them in some ice cold water, and then you peel them right away and just throw them in a bowl, and they are like perfect.
All right. Well, I need to revisit
Yeah.
his show.
My life may have already been changed.
Bake your eggs, people.
He does have my favorite stovetop mac and cheese recipe that I've ever tried, and I've tried a lot. But the book is called Food for Thought. That's coming out. There's also Memorial Days, can't read my handwriting, a memoir by Geraldine Brooks, who Geraldine Brooks did Horse and a lot of other wonderful novels. So
People of the book.
People of the Book, because she's a fantastic writer. I
Yes.
imagine her memoir will also be beautifully written. So those are my top three.
Nice.
One that I'm really excited to have come out is called The Shots You Take. It is a hockey romance, which Killian knows has been my addiction for the last too long. But it's by Rachel Reed, who is a pillar of said community. Amanda is staring at me with this weird face because and I need everyone to be aware how not a sports person I am.
Well, I was gonna say, do you watch the Red Wings?
Sure don't.
Okay.
Been to one game in the past 10 years, and that was a Christmas gift to my father.
All right.
But I will take every ride with her. It is a second chance romance, which I'm iffy on, but the words she writes, I will absorb.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Totally.
it happens.
Yeah.
That comes out, I think, early March.
Okay.
I'm desperate.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of sports metaphors?
There were in book one. I knew about 20 of them.
Great. Perfect.
Perfect. Do you have any more, Drew?
Come back to me.
Okay. Cool. Killian.
The big one that jumps to mind for me is a new release by one of my favorite authors. It's called Dream On, Ramona Riley. It is by Ashley Herring Blake. If you listen to our last episode, you know. And I will simply automatically purchase and devour anything she writes. I have not been burned by that yet. There are other authors that I have been very excited for books for, and then I get burned by them being not at all what I'd hoped, and just like being badly written all of a sudden. So I always live in fear of that now whenever I get attached to authors. But I have to wait until May for this one. It's going to be a minute.
Yeah, it's the wait.
Yep.
Sometimes it's the wait that just makes you crazy.
And having access to advanced reader copies sometimes is nice. I've read a lot of hers on advanced reader copies before they come out. But also then nobody else has read it and I can't talk to anybody about it.
Right.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah. I am looking forward to the third book of the Emily Wilde series,
Ooh.
which her first book was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. That's by Heather Fawcett. And this would be the third one that's coming out. The first and second books were really great. I love them. And they are romantasy with fairies and all that kind of good stuff in it. So this book will be called Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I am also looking forward to Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, which is Grady Hendrix's new book. Oh my God, guys, really? So excited.
I've only read one Grady Hendrix, and it was the one in the IKEA store.
The horror store.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
bananas.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's delightful. Okay. And then Stephen King is putting out a new book for the Holly Gibney series, which, if you're not familiar, that's the Mr. Mercedes, the outsider. Holly Gibney is like this just socially awkward, chain-smoking girl who sees things that other people don't usually see, and she can crack a case like nobody's business. So I just love that series so much. I'm looking forward to that for sure. Anybody else have a book or?
Yeah. So there's a book that's coming out in January, so I think like 2 weeks after this episode releases. It's called The In-Between Bookstore by Edward Underhill.
Ooh.
It is a book that starring a trans man who's about to turn 30, really not happy with his life. He just lost his job. He had to move back to his hometown. He goes back to the bookstore that he was sort of raised in, sort of the way that we are all raised in book places, and comes face to face with his, I think, 13-year-old pre-transition self.
Oh.
And sort of what you'd say to your younger self, how you handle that, how you handle being a disappointment to your past self.
Okay.
Because that's the position that he feels he's in.
Oh.
Meeting your past self and being so different from the person that at the time she probably thought she was going to grow up to be. Mm-hmm. It just sounds so fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
And then the last one that I'll say is the part 2 of the Wicked movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because at time of recording, we're still about 4 weeks away from the movie coming out, but I'm already
I'm
obsessed.
so impatient.
And it's only the first half, so I already know I'm going to need the second.
See, at least you knew that to begin with, because like in the Dune thing, I swear, I did not know. When you don't know that it's going to be a part 1 of part 2 or part 3 or whatever, so frustrating. Anyway, so good for them for letting you know ahead of time.
I was very thankful.
Yeah.
So I was going to be like, I have 2, but it's kind of cheating because their release date is actually currently marked as Christmas Eve. One of them I didn't actually look up. It might still be marked as Christmas Eve, but I'm going to say it anyway because I haven't been able to be excited about it, and I'm still worried about letting myself be excited about it. Heavenly Tyrant is the sequel to Iron Widow that has been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and I...
Through no fault of the author.
No. Publishing.
Publishing.
But I desperately need this book in my life. And as of the last time I checked, release date is marked for Christmas Eve of this year, of 2024.
Okay.
So I guess we'll find out by the time this actually airs if it actually came out or not.
Allow me to set the scene of when Killian and I were living together. And we had 3 days off over the new year of 2021 into 22. And
It's been that long?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And she was reading a book. I was not aware of what book at the time. Out in the main room, and I was hanging out in my bedroom. And suddenly, I hear her scream and throw the book out of rage. And I immediately picked it up because anything that inspires that, I need in my life immediately. And
Was it justified?
yes. Yes, it was.
Okay.
That's an endorsement.
Yeah.
All right.
So the other one, which was last I had seen, supposed to release Christmas Eve of 2024, now is showing on Goodreads March 6th of 2025. I'm going to lose it if these books keep getting pushed back. I will cry. It is A Witch's Guide to Magical Inkeeping? I can't read today. What a day. The author wrote one of my all-time favorite books, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. And I am obsessed with that book. Drew can
Again, attest
to how much I bugged him about reading this book. And I, ever since this was announced, have been waiting for this book about a woman who was once one of the most powerful witches in Britain. And then she resurrected her aunt. And now they are innkeepers. And I desperately just want more cozy witch books in my life all the time.
Yeah.
And apparently now I have to wait till March for it. So that's real-time disappointment here. But also I'm still excited for it to come out.
Yeah.
Let me make that disappointment worse. March 6th, I don't believe, is a Tuesday. So that doesn't feel real to me.
Dear publishing, please give me my books. I beg of you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I want to talk about a couple shows that are coming out next year. Last of Us Season 2.
Did they finally announce that?
Yes. Coming out. So in previous episodes, I had a very lengthy discussion about the mushrooms coming to get us all. And that will resume next in 2025 with Last of Us Season 2. That will be on Max and HBO. The movie It, Stephen King It, they're doing a prequel show called It Welcome to Derry on Max. And I think I'm excited about it. I want to see what that's all about. And then also Wednesday, Season 2 is coming out in 2025. So very excited about that too.
All these episodes have taught me is that I'm so woefully behind on popular TV series and like streaming series because I have seen none of these.
Oh no. You have homework to do.
I have no time for homework.
Well,
Wednesday and The Last of Us are fantastic.
Okay.
Last of Us is terrifying. So
There is that.
I'll add it to the list. They keep talking about The Last of Us showing up in Dead by Daylight eventually. Like, all rumors, nothing confirmed. But, you know, if it ever did, maybe I'd have to see it.
anything else that we have for stuff coming out?
Don't think so.
All right, library programs for 2025.
Yeah. So we will be having our regular winter reading challenge. Technically starts halfway through December, but goes through the end of January. And that'll be relatively standard fare for us. Read X number of books or X number of days or whatever it ends up being within the time frame to register yourself for a prize. Mm-hmm. We also have something that's recurring that's not necessarily tied to the new year called the 50 Book Challenge. And anyone can set that up at any time, but the new year feels like a fantastic time to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're going to set a Goodreads goal to read 50 books, you might as well do a library goal and just double dip.
But you also don't have to finish it within the year, so. But it's a nice goal to have. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are little prize packages for registering and then for reading 25 and 50.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask. How does this work exactly?
Yeah, it's super chill. On Beanstack, the app that we use for all of our long-running reading programs, you just log whenever you finish a book. Okay. And it can take as long as it takes. Yeah. But you log it as soon as it's done. You can write a review, but you don't have to. And then as soon as you've registered your 25th and your 50th book, it will give you its little notification. Hey, you've earned a prize. Come into the library for it. And then we get to talk to them about the books that they've read. Okay. And that's so much fun.
Yeah, totally. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that you get some ideas on how to keep up reading for the next year. Maybe sign up for a challenge, check out your local library, come and see us and tell us about the stuff you want to read or what you're looking forward to. And we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Distracted Librarians.
Many thanks to BCTV for their support in recording, editing, and releasing this podcast, and to the Friends of the Library for sponsoring closed captioning on every episode.
If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to reach out to us at distracted@btpl.org.
Until then, keep those pages turning and those screens lighting up. We'll catch you in the next episode.
The views and opinions expressed in the Distracted Librarians podcast do not necessarily reflect those of Bloomfield Township Public Library, Bloomfield Community Television, the Birmingham Area Cable Board, or its producers or production staff.